Beneath the monumental arches and the austere gaze of marble emperors, in the shadow of an empire forged by might and meticulously structured by hierarchy, lay a clandestine world far more subtle yet equally potent. It was a realm where a simple sound, laughter, transcended mere amusement, evolving into a sophisticated, often subversive force. How could the fleeting joy of a guffaw, the cutting edge of a jest, or the sly glint of irony hold sway in a society so rigidly defined by tradition and power? This is the enigma we seek to unravel, peering into the very fabric of ancient Rome to decode its secret language of laughter and its hidden power. Welcome to Echoes of Time, your portal to the forgotten pages of history. We embark on a journey through the ages, delving into the past to better understand the present. And today, we unearth a truth whispered through the bustling forums, dimly lit taverns, and even the hallowed halls of power. That Roman humor was not a trivial footnote in history, but a profound expression, an unruly echo that shaped narratives and challenged authority in ways conventional language never could. Ancient Rome, a civilization of unparalleled grandeur and unwavering stoicism, presented an outward face of order and command. Its laws were ironclad, its social strata clearly delineated, its customs steeped in the reverence of ancestors and gods. Yet, within this seemingly impenetrable edifice, human nature, with all its complexities and contradictions, found its own avenues of expression. Laughter, in this context, was never merely an involuntary release. It was an intangible currency, circulating through all levels of society, an often clandestine commodity whose true value and impact have long been debated by historians. Was it a harmless psychological safety valve, a necessary release for the pressures of empire, or a sophisticated weapon wielded with precision by both the powerful and the powerless? The very concept of Roman humor was incredibly diverse, reflecting the multifaceted tapestry of its daily life. We know of its public manifestations, preserved through the ages in the biting satire of literary giants like Juvenal and Martial. Their words, sharp as a gladius, cut through the pomposity and hypocrisy of their era, exposing the moral decay and societal absurdities within a acerbic wit that resonates even today. Imagine the discomfort, the public shame, or perhaps the vicarious pleasure these scathing critiques would have invoked among the Roman populace. Then there were the theatrical comedies, brought to life on crowded stages by playwrights such as Plautus and Terence. Their vibrant narratives, filled with mistaken identities, cunning slaves, lovelorn youths, and avaricious elders, offered a communal space for uproarious guffaws and shared amusement, often gently satirizing societal norms without overtly threatening the established order. Yet, beyond these well-documented public spectacles, the true mystery of Roman humor lies in its more subtle, less recorded forms. Whispers of jests, ironic quips, and subversive wit echoed through the very foundations of Roman society. From the chaotic marketplaces of the Forum, where plebeians and patricians rubbed shoulders, to the smoky intimacy of a tavern, where inhibitions were lowered with each cup of wine, and even within the austere, politically charged atmosphere of the Senate or the imperial palace itself, humor found its way. These were the unruly echoes that slipped past official scrutiny, carrying messages, expressing sentiments, and forging connections that official channels often suppressed. Historians have grappled with the true impact of this pervasive yet elusive force, often focusing their analyses on its role in political rhetoric or social critique. It's clear that even emperors, figures of immense power and authority, understood the dual nature of laughter. Leaders like Augustus, the first Roman emperor, and the notorious Nero both enjoyed its potential to entertain and even to humanize,
to make themselves appear relatable to their subjects. Yet, they also deeply feared its capacity to sway public opinion or, more perilously, to expose inconvenient truths.
A well-placed joke could undermine a reputation, sow seeds of doubt, or incite widespread discontent, a threat to even the most absolute power. But what if laughter was more than just a reaction, more profound than mere entertainment or even political maneuvering? What if it constituted a secret language, a coded form of communication that allowed for the subtle expression of dissent or the quiet forging of solidarity among those who lacked conventional power? This is one of the compelling hypotheses scholars have put forth, suggesting that for the plebeians and marginalized groups within the meticulously structured Roman society, overt rebellion was often suicidal. In such an environment, a shared ironic glance, a knowing chuckle at a veiled jibe, or a collective outburst of laughter at a public figure's gaffe could serve as a powerful, unspoken affirmation of shared frustration or common cause. It was a way to articulate grievances, mock the powerful, or simply survive the day-to-day indignities of a hierarchical existence, all without crossing the dangerous line into direct confrontation. This secret language allowed sentiments to be aired, even if indirectly, providing a psychological and social outlet that was both safe and profoundly meaningful. It allowed them to momentarily reclaim agency in a world where their voices were often silenced. However, another perspective argues that the Roman elite, far from being simply victims of this subversive humor, masterfully co-opted it. They understood its power and turned it into an instrument of control. Through elaborate public spectacles, where mockery was often targeted at political opponents or rival factions, the elite could reinforce their own power and discredit those who challenged them. By publicly ridiculing a rival, they could diminish their standing in the eyes of the populace, leveraging laughter as a weapon to destroy reputations and consolidate authority. Furthermore, the elite were astute enough to even make jokes about themselves, presenting an image of relatability and approachability. This carefully constructed self-mockery was a sophisticated tactic, allowing them to appear less autocratic, more human, while simultaneously asserting their undeniable dominance. By controlling the narrative of laughter, by directing its flow and even its targets, the Roman elite could effectively diffuse potential dissent and channel public sentiment in ways that served their own interests, transforming an unruly echo into a controlled reverberation. They understood that a ruler who could laugh at himself, or at least appear to do so, was often perceived as more secure, more legitimate. A third, equally compelling perspective posits that laughter, at its most fundamental level, served as a crucial psychological safety valve. Ancient Rome was an often brutal and hierarchical society, rife with social tensions, economic disparities, and the ever-present pressures of maintaining a vast empire. In such an environment, the collective release of laughter provided a necessary escape, diffusing mounting tensions and preventing them from escalating into outright conflict. Imagine the crowded insulae, the grueling labor, the rigid social expectations. Moments of shared humor, whether through a public play or a private jest, offered a temporary reprieve, a collective exhale. This communal experience of amusement helped maintain social cohesion, allowing individuals to bond over shared experiences, frustrations, and joys, thereby mitigating the centrifugal forces that could tear such a complex society apart. It was a pressure relief system for the enormous weight of empire, a fleeting moment of parody, where the slave could laugh at the same folly as the senator, however brief or circumscribed that moment might be. Without these outlets, without this crucial psychological release, the internal stresses of Roman society might have reached breaking point far sooner. Deciphering these enigmatic smiles and uproarious guffaws from across 2 millennia is no easy task. It requires us to look beyond the grand narratives of wars and emperors to the hidden facets of Roman life, seeking to understand the nuances of human interaction and emotional expression that shaped one of history's most enduring empires. Historians and scholars, through painstaking analysis of texts, inscriptions, and archaeological findings, attempt to piece together these fragments of a vibrant, complex emotional landscape. They grapple with the limitations of sources, recognizing that much of this secret language was ephemeral, existing in spoken word, gesture, and shared context, leaving few direct traces for us to discover. Yet, the very existence of these ongoing debates, the nuanced theories and compelling hypotheses, underscores the profound significance of Roman humor. It was not a minor cultural quirk, but a fundamental aspect of human experience within a structured society, reflecting the continuous interplay between power and its subversion, control and its occasional escape, dominance and its often silent challenge.
As we journey into these depths with echoes of time, we are reminded that history is not just a collection of dates and names, but a living, breathing testament to humanity's enduring spirit. The unruly echo of laughter in ancient Rome reveals not only a forgotten chapter of its past, but also offers insights into the universal mechanisms of social interaction, the psychology of power, and the human need for expression. It teaches us that even in the most rigorously controlled environments, the human spirit finds ways to communicate, to challenge, and to endure. So, as we reflect on this hidden power, this secret language woven into the very fabric of an ancient empire, we are left with a fundamental question. In our own meticulously structured societies, what are the modern unruly echoes that wield hidden power, shaping narratives and challenging authority in ways we are only just beginning to comprehend?